This is Romania, as you've never seen it before. From above, we'll reveal a contrasting landscape where old legends and rural traditions have been preserved in the depths of mountains, and where modern engineering and innovation combine to drive a nation rebuilding its past. In this series, we'll take an aerial tour across Europe, filmed over the course of a single year, and through the changing seasons, we'll uncover the culture, history, and engineering that built the great European nations we see today. Romania sits at the crossroads of Central, Eastern, and Southeastern Europe, with Serbia and Hungary to the west, and Ukraine and Moldova to the north and northeast. The Danube River forms Romania's natural border with Bulgaria to the south, and the Carpathian mountain range dominates its heart. Romania's contrasting landscape is defined by vast plains, rolling hills, and rugged mountains. Following the Danube River reveals the carved head of Decebalus, king of the Dacians, who ruled this land in ancient times. Fairy tale castles and fortified churches stand as a reminder of when the Saxons took control during the Middle Ages. Romania's vast plains are dominated by agriculture. The country has a population of around 20 million people, and just under half of them live in rural areas. Today, the nation is one of Europe's leading food producers. In December, a dusting of snow falls across Romania's historic valleys. Urban rooftops turn from red to white, and mountain towns transform into a frosted fairy tale as winter comes to Romania. In winter, Romania's ski resorts attract around 1.2 million tourists. Skiing wasn't popular here until the beginning of the 20th century, when the royal family that ruled Romania at the time started the trend for winter sports. The first official sleigh and ski competitions were held on the fields in front of the royal residence at the time, Peleș Castle. While Peleș impresses with its luxury, Corvin Castle was originally built as a fortress in the 15th century to defend the borders of the Hungarian Empire. But there is one castle that stands out because of the myths and legends surrounding it. Bram Stoker's novel, Dracula, is the dark tale of a blood-sucking vampire who lived in the depths of Romania's historic heartland, the region of Transylvania. The detailed description of his castle reveals that it was located high above a valley perched on a rock. There is one castle that closely matches this description. This is Bran Castle. Despite its diminutive size, this 14th century stronghold is one of Romania's top attractions. Each year, hundreds of thousands of tourists flock here to take in the castle, thanks to its association with the terrifying legend of Dracula. As Christmas approaches, it's up to curator Mihaela to give this icon of horror a festive makeover.
It's that special time of the year. And what Christmas would it be if we wouldn't have a Christmas tree, right?
As the team haul the giant tree into position, our flying cameras reveal the secret to Bran Castle's precarious location. The structure guards the only mountain pass for miles. Any traveler wishing to travel between Transylvania and neighboring Wallachia would have to pay a toll here or face the consequences. In medieval times, the courtyard would have been filled with soldiers cooking food on open fires and making weapons to defend the kingdom. And these walls would have been bright with banners all year round, so that everybody could recognize who ruled the region.
Actually, the flags do change the look of the castle. We use them to garnish the defense corridor, but also to remind everyone of the beautiful history of this monument.
The castle was built at a time when the Hungarian Empire was at threat from the Turkish Ottoman Empire. Any unwelcome visitors would be greeted by a rain of arrows flying from the tiny windows of the castle's walls. The observation tower is the oldest part of the castle and home to Dracula's favorite residents, the bats. Although there are no vampire bats living in Romania, there are some local species who like to visit the castle from time to time and remind us of the legends. The castle is ready to welcome its visitors for Christmas, but there is just one thing missing: the lights. The heavily forested valleys of Romania's north are filled with traditional towns which still thrive today on the trade of timber. Transporting this precious commodity from the steep mountain slopes is a huge challenge, especially during winter. But one town has an astonishing solution. From high above, Romania's north appears to fold into soaring mountains and deep valleys. A closer look at the mountain passes reveal a rail track swerving through the steep gorges. But this is a railway like no other. This is Mocăniță, the last forestry steam railway in the world. Swooping low over the line reveals that these are no ordinary trains. They are narrow gauge machines, 4 times smaller than a normal steam train. For over 100 years, these pint-sized locomotives have been hauling timber from Romania's mountaintop forests to the timber yards of a town called Vâșeu de Sus. In the cold winter months, the train leaves the station before dawn so that the team has enough time to reach their final destination by midday. Today, Julian and Stefan got up early to take one of these tiny locomotives on a 31-kilometer journey into the mountains. They are only 25 and 27 years old, but grew up in Vâșeu de Sus, and driving one of these steam trains was their childhood dream.
If you don't work like a team, you cannot do the job. The driver cannot move the engine without the fireman, and the fireman cannot move it without the driver.
The team call the train Mocăniță, meaning shepherd, because it moves slowly at only 10 kilometers per hour like a shepherd with his flock. Almost halfway up, and the team makes a stop to refill the steam engine with water from the river and to oil the piston rods. This seems like a lot of work for the 21st century, but Mocăniță is not only used to transport timber from the mountain, it also has a passenger carriage for paying visitors to enjoy the views. Replacing this narrow-gauge line with a modern one would have a devastating impact on the local tourist industry. 600 meters up the mountain, they reach the depot where they must hook up 10 wagons loaded with timber. But with nowhere to spin the little train around, Julian has to attach them to the front of the engine and make the return trip backwards.
In this moment of my life, I would not like to do anything else. I had a few different jobs in the past, but I think this is the most interesting and I love this job.
Mocăniță has once more served the community well, delivering their most precious commodity to the local wood factories and keeping the old traditions alive. When the festive season ends, the snow covering medieval fortresses and city rooftops melts away. And the forests around Brașov town turn green. Spring is here. In Romania's cities, people make the most of spring by enjoying the local parks and outdoor concerts. Romania's capital, Bucharest, is a bustling center for high-tech industries with twice as many IT professionals as the European average. Another fast-growing technology hub is the city of Cluj. And not far from these picturesque streets lies perhaps Romania's weirdest visitor attraction. Transylvania is a vast expanse of highland that dominates Romania's center. In the heart of this region lies the city of Torda. This unassuming town is home to one of Romania's most spectacular tourist destinations. From above, there's not much to see, just a car park and a small building. A closer look reveals a series of salt lakes, but not much else. So who comes here and why? The answer lies deep underground. This is the site of Romania's largest historic salt mine, 5 caverns carved deep into the ground. The mining operations here are long finished, but it's what these spaces are filled with today that draws 800,000 visitors a year. Flying deep below the surface of the Earth reveals an astonishing aerial sight. A panoramic lift transports people down into an underground amusement park. It's home to the only subterranean Ferris wheel in the world. A boating lake, mini golf, and many other attractions. Robert Stoica, one of the tour guides, arrives early each day to make sure the mine is ready for visitors.
The first thing that people often say when they enter the mine, it's wow.
Robert's first job of the day is to switch on over 300 lights, which transform the caves from a black hole to a spectacular underground world. Flying high reveals the scale of this wonderland. The mine was established more than 700 years ago, and each of these caverns was created by the removal of salt. The salt was once part of an ancient sea that covered this region. The strange marks on the cave's walls are historic scars made by hammers and chisels over hundreds of years of extraction. The mine is so large, the maintenance team uses tiny cars to get around. Today they need to replace a light in one of the park's main attractions. With the light fixed, Robert is ready to welcome the first visitors of the day. While the Teresa mine is used mainly for relaxation, the Rudolf mine is where the fun begins.
I'm really proud of my job. It's a privilege to work here.
Salina Turda is a unique place where people have preserved their past and found a modern way to celebrate their history. In spring, Romania's medieval towns and villages come to life. In Năsăud, thousands of people dress in traditional outfits to celebrate Romania's folk costume day. And in Romania's most remote communities, efforts are now being made to preserve far more than just costumes and cultures. In Romania's west, the tip of the Carpathian Mountains is split by a massive valley. Pushing through the clouds reveals a remarkable sight. A river winds through the flatlands like an enormous snake, and on its banks sit dozens of historic villages. This is the Gurăsada commune, a collection of villages famed for their historic churches. Located in close proximity to the Mureș River, these communities rely heavily on fishing and traditional farming. But the old Orthodox churches have always been the center of social life. The most well-known is the Church of St. Michael the Archangel, built in the 13th century. Romania's harsh climate has taken its toll on the building's roof, and today it needs urgent repair. The roof is clad in traditional oak shingles in place of tiles. These roofs are now so rare in Romania that this church is one of only 4 built in this style that survives here. The damaged roof is also threatening the spectacular 300-year-old religious paintings that adorn the walls of the bell tower. Today, a Romanian volunteer organization is on a mission to rescue the Church of St. Michael the Archangel. Among them is architecture student Cesara. She's happy to give up her time for free to gain first-hand knowledge of the ancient art of shingle making.
It's amazing that I can get to know how things are really built in real life in a site like this, and learn about the heritage that we have today.
In a country where public spending on renovating historical buildings is limited, this group performs a vital function. The team works completely voluntarily, and they focus mainly on urgent interventions like replacing damaged roofs and securing walls from collapse.
This building is really important for our cultural identity because it's something really traditional that is only made in this place almost 1,000 years ago. It's a tradition that is almost lost in Romania.
Working with the oak shingles is an unusual experience, which brings the team closer in touch with architects of the past. Many volunteers, like Cesara, live miles away from the site and will spend the entire summer working here non-stop. But for them it's worth it to see the fruits of their labor finally revealed. 4 months later, the roof of the church is completely covered with new oak tiles. It's a heartwarming sight for both the team and the community, whose church is now safe for decades to come. As the days become warmer and longer, the sandy beaches of Romania's Black Sea resorts undergo a colorful transformation. And Romanians pour into the streets of ancient towns and cities to celebrate the arrival of summer. Summer brings people across the country together. The Linden Tree Festival gathers people in the green fields of Luncavița to celebrate local culture and listen to live music. But as the summer temperatures peak, in Romania's countryside, it's time for harvest. Romania's landscape is dominated by agriculture. Around 60% of the entire nation is farmland, an area nearly 4 times the size of Switzerland. Close to the nation's capital, Bucharest, the landscape appears as an incredible patchwork of colors, and in summer, this region undergoes an astonishing aerial transformation. The fields surrounding Amaru erupt in a vibrant explosion of yellow, as Romania's famous sunflower crop blooms for less than a month. Romania is Europe's largest producer of sunflower seeds, with an annual harvest of around 2 million tons. Emanuel Dinca leads a team tending to one of the region's biggest sunflower farms.
Când treci pe lângă o cultură de floarea-soarelui înflorită,
When you walk past a blooming sunflower crop, no matter how upset you are or how stressed you are, your day refreshes and you are happier.
ești mai fericit.
But these yellow blooms are no good for Emanuel. He needs to wait for the plants to die before he can harvest their seeds. The hot summer sun transforms the golden fields into a sea of brown and black. When the conditions are just right, Emanuel assembles an army of monster-sized machines to collect the seeds as quickly as possible. "120 blades slice through the tough vegetation. The machines crunch through the fields of flowers in perfectly straight lines and separate the sunflower heads from their stalks. Then they shake the precious seeds out of the heads and shuttle them into a storage tank on the back of the harvester. There is one task left for Emanuel and his team. They load the precious seeds onto a convoy of 4 trucks to take to factories for processing.
Da, eu am crescut la țară și am crescut la
I grew up in the countryside, around sunflowers and other crops, but this is the most beautiful. If I were to be born a second time, I would want to be born in Romania again.
Romania's fertile farmland and temperate continental climate also provides the ideal growing conditions for wheat, corn, maize, and fruit. Other prominent Romanian industries include chemical production, metal processing, and machine manufacturing. Some of these products are transported to Europe through the Danube River. But for international exports, Romania's busy Black Sea ports are key. Through history, the Black Sea formed a vital trading route into Europe. Even the ancient Greeks used the port of Constanta, which lies in modern-day Romania. Zooming into Constanta today reveals this ancient port city is as busy as ever 2,000 years later. Every year, Constanta can handle up to 100 million tons of goods. And this one section of the port is dedicated to holding and loading vast bulk carriers with Romanian grain such as wheat. The grain is stored inside these enormous silos. Each one can hold up to 10,000 tons. Our aerial cameras have exclusive access to the loading of a bulk carrier called Thor, with 60,000 tons of wheat destined for Egypt. That's enough to make 84 million loaves of bread. Sarhan Yadimcha is the Chief Operations Officer here.
I have a total 15 years of port management experience. I'm proud of this because it's a very challenging environment, and managing all these vessels, barges, rail cars, logistic, in fact playing chess, we never get bored.
The team gets to work straight away, filling the ship with grain from the port's giant silos. From high above, it is possible to see that the ship has 7 separate holds. This is so the weight of the grain can be distributed evenly across the ship. Put it all in one spot, and the ship risks listing to one side, or even snapping in half. Once the first hold is half full, the team moves on to the next. Sarhan orders 2 barges to dump grain from the other side of the ship. Although dwarfed by the size of the hold, each of the floating crane's scoops carries up to 15 cubic meters of grain. Hidden among these mechanical monsters are a team of expert engineers who keep the operation running. 36 people in total across 6 shifts will work day and night before Thor is finally ready to set sail.
We have a large team which needs to communicate and work hand in hand together. It's a continuous adrenaline rush. We like it.
3 days and 60,000 tons of wheat later, bulk carrier Thor is finally ready to set sail for Egypt. The weight of the grain in its hull means it now rests 7 meters lower in the water than it did before. But most importantly for Sarhan and the team, it's perfectly balanced.
Feeding the world together. This is our mottos. We are a strong and important link in a food supply chain, and knowing this importance, we try to do our best.
Thanks to the hard work of Sarhan and his team, Romania exports over 12 million tons of grain each year and helps feed the world. As the year progresses, the Danube Delta undergoes a dramatic transformation. In the cities, the trees shed their leaves, and the hills surrounding the old mountain towns turn brown as autumn arrives in Romania. Romania's bustling capital, Bucharest, is one of Europe's fastest-growing high-tech cities. The elegant buildings of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, like the Athenaeum, the CEC Palace, and the Triumphal Arch, earned Bucharest the nickname Little Paris of the East. Supported by the Soviet Union, the Romanian Communist Party came to power from 1946 to 1989. During this time, freedom of speech and freedom of religion were severely limited. The greatest reminder of this period is the massive Palace of the Parliament. Built from concrete, steel and marble, it weighs around 4 million tons and is the world's heaviest building. The palace was ordered by the communist dictator Nicolae Ceausescu. But perhaps the strangest thing about this mega project was how Ceausescu found the space to build it. In the 1980s, Bucharest's historic city centre was transformed when Ceausescu ordered bulldozers to destroy thousands of homes to make space for his vanity project. Yet a closer look today reveals a vast new building with golden domes is rising up alongside the Palace of the Parliament. This is the People's Salvation Cathedral. The construction of this mega-sized project was started in 2010, and when completed, it will be the biggest Orthodox cathedral in the world. It's already 40 meters taller than the Palace of the Parliament. Nicolae Crângașu is an Orthodox priest and also coordinator of this unique construction site.
For almost 150 years, Romanians made the greatest of efforts to build this cathedral. It wasn't possible until the present days, when works began, and as you can see, they are coming along nicely.
Today, Nicolae is overseeing the installation of one of the key ornaments on the front facade of the building. It's the final piece of an ornate window surround, but its awkward shape and 600-kilogram weight makes it a challenge to lift. The construction team's ingenious solution is to clamp it inside a custom-built steel frame on wheels. The frame enables the team to lift the surround through the scaffolding without it tipping over and pull it into position when it gets to the right level. The cathedral's most ambitious decoration is best seen from above. 11 golden domes shine bright under the sky. The central dome is the third tallest in the world, rising 124 meters above the ground.
When I see the gilded domes, I have the feeling that under them is something very precious, is the intense life of the people of Romania, who live their faith very strongly through their connection with God.
The cathedral is controversial for many. It will end up costing a staggering 400 million euros, with a significant slice from the public purse. But for Nicolae, it will be worth it for what it means for Bucharest's status as a modern European capital.
In Europe, all the capitals of the countries have major cathedrals. Bucharest was the only capital that did not have a major cathedral. Now, if Almighty God helps us finish it, we hope to be like the other European countries.
In Romania's far east, the Danube forms Europe's largest river delta. Every autumn, Romanians celebrate the fishing culture of the region with a fish soup festival. These extensive wetlands are home to over 300 native species of birds, including Europe's largest colony of great white pelicans. The deep green hump of the Danube Delta is so large it can be clearly seen from space. Much of it belongs to the Romanian county of Tulcea. For centuries, this region has been largely isolated from the rest of the nation, cut off by the mighty Danube. But a closer look today reveals that an ambitious civil engineering project is set to change all that. This is Brăila Bridge. When it's complete, this €485 million project will be the longest suspension bridge to ever cross the Danube, and the second longest in continental Europe. Viorel Eșanu is one of the engineers overseeing the construction of this project.
This project will improve substantially the lives of the people around, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity I have been given to work on this project.
Today, our aerial cameras have exclusive access to a milestone moment. Climbing up to heights of 192 meters, daredevil engineers will complete the installation of the last steel cable that makes up the bridge's suspension. A series of metal grids act as walkways for the workers, with a terrifying view to the drop below.
You have to be brave, and also you have to be passionate to do this kind of job and to work in this kind of conditions.
An ingenious wheel carries the final cable across the 2-kilometer span. And the workers use hammers to compact it into the final strand. The cables of the bridge stretch in 16 strands across the top of the tall towers. They will soon be used to suspend the 86 segments of prefabricated blocks that make up the 2-kilometer-long road deck. After almost 20 minutes of heavy hammering, Viorel is happy that the last wire is compressed.
Okay.
And this all-important stage in the bridge's construction is at last complete.
I'm very proud of this project, and we are very happy to have this team that has worked around the clock to complete this task and to achieve this milestone.
In over 2.5 years, this remarkable project has transformed an unused stretch of the Danube into a soaring megastructure, nearly ready to carry up to 7,000 vehicles a day and breathe economic life into Romania's most isolated region. In Romania's far north, a number of churches survived the communist regime, hidden away in the remote Carpathian mountains. They include the Bursana monasteries, famous for their distinctive shingled roofs and tall spires. Another survivor here boasts perhaps Romania's most unusual religious aerial site. From high above the clouds, the Carpathian mountain range appears to surge through Romania like a breaking wave. And in the north, it gives rise to deep river valleys and remote mountain villages. Zooming in reveals an unusual bright green building that shines like an emerald. This is the Church of the Nativity of the Holy Virgin Mary. Built in 1886, this Orthodox chapel is one of Romania's most popular tourist destinations. But people don't flock here just to marvel at the tall spire or brightly colored roof. They come to visit the cemetery. Here, over 800 brightly decorated crosses tell the stories of almost everyone who has died in the town of Săpânța. Gheorghe Stan Colțun is tasked with making new crosses and keeping the cemetery in perfect condition.
If someone visits the cemetery, they will meet the community of Săpânța village. What they did for a living, what job the deceased had in life, things like that, which can't be found anywhere in the world. It's unique.
These unusual crosses are famous because the life stories they reveal can be disarmingly frank and surprisingly humorous.
Underneath this heavy cross lies my mother-in-law. Try not to wake her up, for if she comes back home, she'll bite my head off.
Other crosses depict people's role in the community or their happiest moments in life. These light-hearted epitaphs and colourful images are the reason why this place is known as the Merry Cemetery. Today is All Saints' Day, and it's a special day for Gheorghe. He wants to repaint some of the old crosses so they are in perfect shape for when the visitors arrive. As the sun sets, the light from thousands of candles illuminates the cemetery as families gather to remember their loved ones. Gheorghe lights candles for one very special grave. It's dedicated to the first person to paint these crosses, Stan Ioan Petraș. He died in 1977, having carved over 700 crosses, including his own. When the night falls, the cemetery transforms into a sea of light. From above, it makes for an astonishing sight.
The Mary Cemetery is unique. It's a place where the lives of the people who have gone remain among us. They live on through these scenes, these colorful crosses. They don't go away. They're only resting for a bit, and they wait for us.
For centuries, the Romanian people have made the most of their fertile landscape. Today, they work to preserve their traditions and overcome their turbulent past. This country is home to old legends and innovative technologies, which blend effortlessly to build the great European nation we see today.